You're on?
Yep.
Okay, hello. Mr. and Mrs. Dominick Spano here. This is your life, and we have it all here to record forever.
Oh,
Okay?
That's nice.
And we just want you to know today's date is what? February?
February the 9th.
The 9th? What year?
1986.
1986. Okay, this is a date you will go down on film. So whatever you have to say here, say it, and it's going to be for prosperity, okay? For all your grandchildren, okay? Okay, we'll start with Laura Spano first.
Yeah.
We want to know when you were born. What is the date of your birthday?
February 27th, 1906.
At what time?
That I don't know.
And what was your mother's maiden name?
My mother's maiden name was Domina Domina Raquela.
And your father?
Antonio Piscatelli.
Oh, Antonio Piscatelli. I'll ask the same question to Mr. D. What was your birthday?
My birthday is February 22nd,
Oh, close.
1905.
1905. And where were you born?
I was born in Italy. Benetti.
Benetti, huh? And do you remember, what was your mother's maiden name?
My mother's Maria Solecita.
And your father?
Michele Spano.
Miguelo Spano. Oh, so these two Irish couple here, I tell you.
And how?
Now, you had how many sisters? Did you have any brothers? Can you tell us about your family?
No, my brothers passed away very young.
Yeah.
The last one, I think, was about 14 years old.
Uh-huh.
And then the rest was all sisters.
Uh-huh. And your mother and father, how far back do you know them?
I don't know too much about my father's background, but I know about my mother's background.
Uh-huh.
She had a sister that lived up in Woodlawn,
Woodlawn in New York.
New York.
And the Bronx.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Her name was Katie Broderick.
Oh.
Marriage name.
But weren't they, there's some Yugoslavian in you?
That's right.
Is
My
it
mother was Yugoslavian.
Mother was Yugoslavian.
My father was Italian.
Yeah? Oh.
And I'm a thoroughbred American.
And Mr. D, what was your background? Were you all pure-blood Italian, or is there any
I'm
mix?
a pure-born Italian,
Uh-huh.
and I've been here since 1910.
And you speak English very well.
I
So you
speak.
came here as a young boy.
That's right.
Right off the boat,
Right off the boat.
Ellis Island.
Ellis
And
Island.
you remember the Statue of Liberty?
Yeah, I remember the Statue of Liberty.
Uh-huh. What was your first thoughts when you saw the statue?
Well, I was wondering who she was up there.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
But well, how old were you?
I was 5 years old when I
5
came
years
here.
old. And you looked at the Statue of Liberty and
Yeah.
says, "This is America."
Yeah, huh?
Uh-huh. And who were you with? Your sister?
I was with my brother-in-law and my father and one of my oldest sisters.
Oh. And they all went to the Bronx. They all went to Manhattan.
We all lived in Manhattan,
Uh-huh.
and then my sister and my brother-in-law gave us a little welcome party at
Uh-huh.
539 West 57th Street.
Oh, so that was where you landed. You settled there.
We settled there.
Uh-huh. And as far as your father, how long did you know your father in New York? When did he pass on?
He was
Oh.
wasn't he?
My father passed on he was 77 years old.
And it was, how old were you?
Well, I guess I was about 50 years old.
50?
Yeah.
50? Yeah?
I was,
Oh,
about,
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I was about 50 years old, and
Oh,
I was
so
working.
it was on to, what business did you get into first? Were you in the ice business? They were telling me
Yeah,
that you
I
were-
was in the ice business,
Yeah,
retail ice business,
uh-huh.
and my brother-in-law was in wholesale business.
Uh-huh. Vegetables?
No, in the ice business.
Oh.
And we all worked there. My father was too, because my father really started everybody in the ice
In the
business.
business. So then, as a young man, you worked hard at ending ice. What was it like getting up in the morning and delivering the ice?
Oh, I used to love that.
Yeah.
I used to love getting up early in the morning and staying out very late at night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I used to like that.
Well, we're going to switch over to Laura because I think at this time you met her, right? That was close. Now, you were working in the telephone company, weren't you?
I was a telephone
Yeah,
operator.
but you had one of the sisters that had gone into work right away, right? Your sister Albert.
Yeah,
She
was in business.
She was in business, and
She was in the dressmaking business.
You had another sister.
And then I had a sister that worked for interior decorator. And I was the telephone girl.
That was Frances.
And then we had a younger sister that stayed home.
And then there was another sister.
The sister that lives in California now,
Right,
you're talking
yes.
about? Yeah, she drifted from home very young, but made out very well. Got married, had 2 children. Husband died, remarried, and he died. And then she settled in California.
Because we recently got a card from her. She's doing well. She's in her 90s now.
85.
85. So getting back to you, what school did you go to?
I went to PS 141 to 6th grade, and then I went to PS 69 8th grade
Where is that located?
on 54th Street and 6th Avenue.
As a child, do you remember any of your teachers? What was your
Yes,
favorite?
I remember Mrs. Walsh.
Mrs. Walsh.
And Mrs. Walsh said
Yes.
she used to go around. She was a principal, and she used to go around with a pencil when we were in the assembly room, and she used to take the pencil and hit every one of us that didn't stand up straight. And to this day, when I salute the American flag, I stand up straight with my hands and back of my back.
You see, you carried that
Right through. I still do it to the American flag.
Then you went on to work. You went to the telephone company.
Yes, I
What
was.
was it? What type of work did you do?
I was an operator in the telephone company
How
for
was
2
that?
years.
Was that fun for you?
I liked telephone work. Previous to that, I was errand girl for dressmakers' houses. I liked that too. I always liked my work.
And you got involved with politics too, I understand.
Oh yeah, sure, that's right. Then I was an inspector in politicians for a good 5-7 years. Mayor Lindsay's time.
Lindsay's time. All right.
Yeah.
While you were working for the telephone company, you ran into this guy, right?
Yep.
And you're like, I'm gonna find out exactly how he met you. So Dave, you ran into Laura at what time in your life? When you were a successful businessman?
I met my wife. She used to live in 56th Street on 9th Avenue. And at that time, I was helping one of my friends in a grocery business on 57th Street.
What
And
was
she
your
used
first
to.
name?
My first name?
Your friend's name was that?
Alexander
Tony.
Alexander.
Is that Tony?
Alexander Status.
Oh.
He was
He's
Greek.
a Greek.
He was a Greek.
Uh-huh.
And she used to come in and say, look, I want to buy 2 eggs and a half a pint of cream so we can have coffee and breakfast. And I used to say, well, 2 eggs and a half a container of cream at that time didn't cost much. But at the same time, I knew there was 4 people in the family.
Right.
What were they going to do with 2 eggs and a cream?
So you
And I met her there, and we kept company for about 2 years. And finally, we decided we'd get married.
Did she work for the telephone company?
She worked for the
But
telephone.
Weren't you driving a cab at the
Oh
time?
yeah, I was driving a cab in New
Yeah.
York City.
But how'd you get to date her?
How I get through the grocery store.
Yeah.
And then after, when I was a cab driver,
Yeah.
I figured it was my duty to take my sweetheart,
Yeah.
pick her up at the house,
Right.
and take her to work, and then go on a job and bring her back home.
This was on company time?
This was on the company's time.
That was very nice of you.
Well-
Without the flag, you didn't
Well,
charge her?
without the flag, because I figured if the boss caught me, I would pay for the fare.
Oh.
That's all.
So it was,
Gas was very cheap at that time.
you just took it to work, you didn't stop for a cup of coffee or something like that?
No, sometimes when we used to walk, I used to walk to pick them up, and then we'd stop at 59th Street
Uh-huh,
on Columbus Avenue, and there used to be an ice cream parlor there,
yeah.
and we'd go and have
And
ice cream Sunday.
Uh-huh. And all this time, Laura, what were you thinking? Did you want a man in your life at this time?
Well, I thought maybe it would be a good idea to get
And how
married.
old were you?
I was 20 years old.
20 years old. And how old was he?
He was 21.
21. So you put it up in your mind that it was about time you started settling
Right.
down, right? And as far as you're concerned, you don't want to mention the first time you gave him his first kiss, do you?
No, I don't want to mention that at all.
It was not to be mentioned. It was so quiet.
No, we didn't.
Do you want to see?
We didn't kiss in them
You
days.
didn't kiss.
That's right.
Don't embarrass.
We didn't believe
We
in
didn't kiss
kissing
in
that.
them days till the wedding day.
But did you go to movies? And what were you? What were, in those
yeah,
days,
we
what,
went to
what did you
movies.
do? Central
We
Park.
went to the Nickel Dome, didn't we?
We used to go to Central Park,
Yeah.
and we used to hire a rowboat, and we used to ride all around
The
Central
lake.
Park
Yeah.
Lake, because we were only allowed an hour at a time with the boat.
Uh-huh. So that was
And it
your,
used to be 25 cents an hour, and we had to put down $2 deposit.
uh-huh.
And when we used to get through,
And
We
we
used to
made
drink.
sure in the hour we were back, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise we would lose the money.
otherwise we get a penalty. We'd have to pay a little more.
Okay, now do you remember the day he proposed to you? Was it something that you can remember?
No.
No. All right. Now the
No.
wedding. The wedding was what day was the wedding?
On June 6th, 1926.
1926.
Right.
So you're talking about now it's 1986 now.
Right.
So this June would be 1926.
40
86,
years.
Be 40 years you'll be married. That is
No, more than that. More than
60
that.
years.
60 years.
60 years. 60 years of married.
1926 to
Isn't
1986.
that,
60
congratulations. That is great.
We're married
that is
60
great.
years. Married
Now.
60 years to this young chick here.
So do you remember your wedding plans? Where
No,
where was it?
No, it was in St. Matthew's Church,
Right. Where's that?
67th Street between 10th Amsterdam and
And West,
And West
11th
End
Avenue.
Avenue.
And where was the reception? Do you remember?
in his mother's house.
In his mother's house. Is there one thing that you remember in that day that you want to treasure and you want to tell us about?
No, I'd rather not.
Is there one thing that you thought about that might have been something that you want to pass on? That you remembered that on your wedding day? Something beautiful? Was there anybody that came to the wedding that you never expected or anything like that?
No, because at that time there was a few of my friends and a couple of her friends, and we kept that relationship till they all passed away.
Okay. So then you got married. This is in 1926.
Right.
So where'd you move to? What apartment?
We lived on 82 Amsterdam Avenue.
82 Amsterdam Avenue.
We had a railroad flat,
Right. Uh-huh.
and we enjoyed it.
Uh-huh. And then
And we used to pay
His sister
$21
lived
a
downstairs, and she was a lot of company to me.
who was downstairs?
His sister lived downstairs,
I see.
and whenever I got lonesome, I went down to his sister's.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Then you, as far as your first child came when?
In 1927, March 23rd.
Your firstborn. Okay.
Firstborn, that was
Uh-huh.
Marie.
And then did you move out of the apartment then to get larger rooms?
Yes, we did. We moved out because she was very asthmatic.
Uh-huh.
Finally, we moved to a corner apartment where I got all southern exposure, and I was much happier there.
Were you still working at the ice job?
Yes, I
You
was
still
still had
working?
my ice job.
And then, did you work? How about when your second child came? Who was that?
That was Michael,
Michael. He came.
1930, September the 2nd,
And you named
1930.
him Michael after who?
Michael after my husband's father.
Your husband. Okay. Then you have Michael, and then thereafter you still stayed in the same apartment.
Right.
Same
Right.
apartment.
Then we
same
moved.
job. Then you got another child.
Right,
who
right.
happens to be
Nina.
Nina.
That's
Okay.
your wife.
Right.
She was born on December the 26th, 1930.
1935.
No, I got them mixed up there.
35.
1935.
Okay. Is there anything that you can remember about Nina being born? You always said she was born on Christmas, and she was born on the 26th.
Right. She was expected in New Year's, and the doctor says, go home, you won't have it till New Year's. And I went home, and I went back that night and had her.
That was on Christmas Day.
Christmas Eve.
Eve.
But they gave her the 26th.
Now, wait
I
a
says,
while.
no, she's born on Christmas Eve, the 25th. The doctor says, we got to give her the 26th.
Are you sure of this? Because she has the wrong birth date then. You sure
No,
they recorded the 26th instead of
the 25th at midnight.
Right.
25th midnight she was born.
Oh.
And I said to the doctor, she's a Christmas baby. He says, no, she's born on the 26th.
Oh. Do you
After
remember
midnight.
anything, Mr. Day, about
Well, at first, when she told me that she was having trouble, so I had to take her to Sydenham Hospital on 125th Street in Morningside Avenue.
That's where she was born.
That's where she was born.
And you named her Nina after who?
After my mother.
After your mother.
My mother was a Domina, and my sister cut it down and made it a Nina.
Nina,
And she was a Nina Alba Spano.
All right, then
After two sisters.
then you stayed in the same apartment still, or you getting your family's growing now? You have
Right.
3 children.
Now we're down to,
You have 3 children now,
yeah,
and you're
now
still
we're
in the
down
same house.
same apartment.
Okay.
Then we had Tony.
Then Tony came along. What year?
Right, and he was born in March 15, 1946.
46. Okay.
And he was born in West Side Hospital on 72nd Street and Broadway. There was a private hospital up there. And then I had a private doctor.
I see.
That was the only one I had a private doctor with.
But Mr. D, you went over to work as a construction man. Didn't
Yes, I
you?
went.
What year was that? You worked for Ryan?
I went in construction business in 1941.
41.
1941.
For what company is that?
I was working for John W. Ryan, a construction concern that was starting in New York City. And I worked for John W. Ryan all through the war because I was too young to go in the Army.
Oh, you weren't in. You didn't. Did you get drafted?
No, I was too young for the first war,
Uh-huh.
and I was too old for the second.
I see.
So I missed both of them. I'm
So,
sorry I missed one of them, but that's the way it goes.
But you worked for Ryan for a long time.
I worked for Ryan for 40 years.
As what? You
As a
started
laborer,
off as-
I started as a laborer, then I finally got promoted to be labor foreman, taking care of all the men on the job.
What were some of the jobs that you put up? Is there anything that we can look at now that we can say? Is there any jobs? in the
Oh
area?
yeah, there's a lot of jobs. We
Westchester?
worked in Schenectady. We put up all the Army barracks and all the warehouses where they stored food for the Army.
The high school.
And then I worked in Schenectady, the same thing, where we had built all big depots.
What year was that?
That was in
That must have been earlier. 50?
1942.
Uh-huh.
1942.
So you had something to do with Iona College, didn't you? Or the Iona
Yeah,
Prep
well,
School?
That came later.
Yeah. So you worked in New Rochelle.
Because after the war, and then naturally my company progressed more and went into the other part of the construction. We built Iona College, but then before that I worked for Gaggy
Geigy, yeah.
in Summit,
Right.
which is now Gaggy and Seaver.
Uh-huh.
Johnson.
I worked for
So you
Johnson and Johnson Pharmaceutical for about 10 years. I had worked about 15 years for Seaver and Gaggy.
All right. So at all this time, then I think you finally got to a point where you made the big move. You moved to Jersey. What year was that? You bought a house in Jersey. Now you took the family, you packed everything up from 64th Street, and you went out to Jersey. What year was that? Can you tell us why you made the move and why you decided on Jersey?
Well, neighborhood was going down. We thought it'd be better for our youngest son, so we moved out to Jersey.
That was Tony, right?
That was Tony.
Right.
And he went to school there. No, he went to St. Paul's School first.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to move out to Jersey because I wanted him to finish St. Paul's School in New York City because that was a good school.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't finish there, so he went out to Jersey, and he went to Burnett Junior High out there. And that's where he finished school.
But you did buy the house with your other son, Michael.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
right. Then we bought this
What year was
two-family
that?
house in August 1959,
1959, you moved to Jersey. And that was whereabouts in Jersey?
1040 Brighton Street,
Where?
Union.
In Union, New Jersey. So that was a complete new life for you.
New life.
City folks going to Jersey. And how has that changed you any? Has it settled you down?
I would say yes, because I would never go back to New York City today.
Never go back to New York. You don't like, as far as Broadway and the old Gallagher's Bar and the
No,
old...
miss.
Well, every once in a while I'd have a chance. I always, on Saturdays when I didn't work, I used to take a walk around the old neighborhood, but it changed so much that none of those buildings and that we used to hang out like Gallagher's Bar and the restaurant there on 66th Street.
Yeah, but Gallagher's Bar is where all your friends were.
That's where we always used to hang out.
Yeah.
All the neighborhood
And
boys.
that was where? What street was that?
That was at 65th Street in Broadway.
In Broadway.
And I still used to go back, but there's nobody around now. They all got up in years and they all moved away because the Lincoln Center came there and tore down all those old houses.
But at the time, you had a very good friend that you were very close with. I think his name was Tony Cosenza.
Oh,
Yeah.
Tony
Could you tell
Cosenza.
me a little bit about Tony, because he was really...
Oh, he was really my best friend.
Uh-huh.
He used to be a truck driver for John W. Ryan.
But he was he did a lot of crazy things.
Oh, he did a lot of crazy things.
Yeah.
But he was very good-hearted.
Yeah.
He'd give you the shirt off his back,
Uh-huh.
and no matter how drunk he was, he always used to bring that truck in.
Did
He
do
said the
anything-
truck knew the way to the garage.
Yeah. Without him knowing.
What? I says, and God forbid, God bless him, now that he's dead, I still think about him because
He was...
half of the time he didn't know he's going through the Lincoln Tunnel.
Yeah. And Laura, who was your best friend?
Well, my best friend was a girl named Helen Kerrigan.
Yeah.
She is now in California.
Yeah.
And of recent, I haven't heard of her, and I'm going to get in touch with
Well,
her
can
and
you
see
tell
what.
me about her? What is she? What was she?
Well, we were all kept strict in our day, and we all stayed in our homes more or less. So whatever play we had was outside the house, hopscotch or something of that sort. So we wasn't much for playing. We were more for school and library.
Was she the
Our
one
social life was library. That's all we had.
But wasn't she a psychic? Was that the one?
That's
she
right.
was a
that's the
psychic.
one.
And what did,
Her mother was.
was a psychic?
And then she wasn't. And then the granddaughter turned out to be a psyche.
Uh-huh.
That's the one, Louise Eubner,
Louise, yeah.
from California.
Uh-huh. And
She married
how involved were you? Did she predict anything that was...
I didn't believe in psychiatry.
You being a Pisces, you should
Yeah.
be believing.
No, I didn't believe in it.
But she's living in California. How old is she now?
My age,
Your age.
80 years old.
So you take this now, as far as you have your home in Union, and there you are relaxing. Is there you went into retirement thereafter? As soon as you got there, you retired, Mr. D. Is that correct?
Well, no. After we moved to Jersey, I worked till I was 70 years old for John W. Ryan. Then they didn't have too much work at that time, and I figured, well, it's time for me to retire. So I retired in 1970.
And who was your immediate boss then? There was
My immediate boss at that time was Frank McDonald.
Right.
He was the superintendent of most of the jobs that I worked.
So you went into retirement, and as far as when he retired, did you were you set for his retirement? Were you happy at the time?
Well, yes, because I was wrapped up in the Senior Citizens Club, and I used to go traveling then.
Oh, so you were
So
already.
yes, I really enjoyed myself going on the different trips.
But now, does he join you on these trips?
No, he does not. He
Isn't
doesn't
it-
care for that kind of thing. Never did.
Why is it that you want to be on your own and you don't want to
Well,
join the groups?
because I feel that I'm not that old to be going to the senior citizen places where they just talk about old times. And so I
They
never
don't-
bothered going to none of those places because I felt I was too young for that.
So you just more or less, but
Just, I enjoy myself, always doing a lot of work around the house,
Uh-huh.
fix the garden, plant some tomatoes in the summertime, help some of the neighbors that couldn't do the work, and that's my life now.
Now, as far as your life now, we're getting very close to the present time. What is it that you like to do best now? You get up in the morning, and what is it you like to do best?
I go over to the club.
You go over to your senior citizens.
Either I shop or I go to the club. That's
And-
my social
And what
life.
friends do you have there?
A lot of friends.
And as far as what do you do? What activities?
We do some dancing, exercise dancing.
Oh,
What else would I say we do? That's talk.
movies.
some
You go
of
to
the people-
I volunteer a little bit in the nutrition part of it.
Uh-huh.
I volunteer when I'm over there.
Uh-huh. If you had to say something to all your grandchildren out there about what to look forward to in life, what would you say?
I would say keep busy and keep working.
Keep busy and keep working
And at the same time have vacations in between.
and enjoy life.
And enjoy life
Day
is
by-
right.
Uh-huh. And
Now that you're young, enjoy it.
what would you say to your grandchildren?
My grandchildren, I would tell them that the best healthy thing would be to keep working. That keeps you good and healthy all the time. Always keep moving and go to work, save some of the money so you don't have to be like me at 82 can't go and spend any money.
Oh,
See?
you enjoy every penny, though.
Oh, I enjoy myself. I make myself enjoyable because I like to work. I never sit around doing anything. I always do something.
But you now are at the age of 82.
I'm very happy that all my grandchildren, that they all are very prosperous, well educated, and that makes me happy.
But you did go out and get yourself a job at the age of 82 as a part-timer. Where is it that you work now?
Well, now I'm working part-time for Pirelli Cable Corporation.
The tires? They make tires?
They make tires. They make all high tension things for Con Edison, all the utilities, any big person. And
When you get paid,
when I get paid,
you take that money
I
and you
take
play the lotto.
I take that money and I go and play lotto. Sometimes in the summertime, I go to the track and I play numbers.
All right, so we're
I
at that
spend my
point
money
now.
that way.
Now, let me seriously ask you, Laura, if you won the lotto and you won $27 million, and your first, what would you do with the $27 million?
I think I would think of all my family first.
Yeah.
And if they were all satisfied with what they needed and wanted, then I'd give the rest to charity.
You would give it all to charity?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. What would you do with the $27 million if you won?
Well, $27 million, I would take care of all the troubles of my family, and the rest of the money, I would go nuts.
Where would you go? Las Vegas?
I would go to Las Vegas. I would go to the nightclub.
But how could your wife is going to donate it to charity? How can you do that?
Well, she donated her half, not my half.
Oh,
He'd buy an air sparrow and fill up the money in it.
right.
Yeah.
So really, when you get down to it, money really isn't everything.
Of course it's not.
When it's just something to be used
That's right.
in life, and you got to be. Well, we really enjoyed this time with you.
And I enjoyed it too, which I never expected it.
Well, I just want to get from both of you something that you want to say that would be something that you live by all your life, a code, some type of code that you live by, and just think about it for a second, and just maybe give us your secret, because you're married almost 60 years.
Well, I think I've learned it too late, but I think my biggest code would be to relax. Learn to relax.
Learn to relax.
Right.
What way?
And always stop and think before you do something.
Why? Did you have a problem in that area? Or-
Well, that's the way I feel. There were a lot of things I jumped to conclusions which I should have never did.
You found that was part
Right.
of your
I think
mistakes
that's- yes.
in life.
Always
What were the
relax.
positive things in your life that you knew you did right?
By right, I think I did everything right.
You felt that everything...
Outside of being too quick on things.
Right. But you felt everything you did, you were justified.
I always felt that I was never guilty of anything.
Uh-huh. All right. That's good to know. You
I
have
was
no
never. I never felt that I was guilty of anything.
Uh-huh. And that feels good.
And
as you
how
grow
that
older.
feels good,
Right.
darn good.
Mr. Day, what would you say is your code? Something that...
My
We can
code,
all-
I believe, to be good and healthy and strong, to keep working, smoke what you feel like smoking, drink what you feel like drinking, just enjoy yourself at all times. No matter what happens, forget about yesterday, always think of tomorrow. And I would preach that to all my grandsons, because if I'm good and healthy, I want them to live at the same age as I am today, 82.
82. And God bless you both, and may you live to another 82 years. And
John, I thank you very much.
Oh,
I think this
well,
was lovely, and I didn't expect it.
Before we go, we need just a little kiss between the two of you, and with the microphone, so we can say goodbye.
Is this going to be a...
Yeah, this is going to be on film. A little kiss there.
Give me
Let's
a
go.
kiss.
Oh, okay. Okay, folks. Okay, that was the end of this profile of the Spanos, and we hope to see you
That was
again.
the first kiss in 55 years.